Welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, my best life Paraguay. And today we're going to be looking at it gives me really no joy, no glee at all whatsoever. But a famous artist here, Pablo Benegas, one that even I sing his songs, right? Karaoke and that kind of thing. His most famous song is Soy de mi tierra, right? But he was accused of pretty much the worst crime you can be accused of, right? And so, we're going to be talking about today, unfortunately, a dark topic, but one thing that I think that uh, I should cover, man, because this dude, he's a very well famous known artist. In fact, here, let me pull up his YouTube channel, right, just so you guys know who I'm talking about here before we get into anything. So yeah, so this broke yesterday here, that he was found guilty of of pretty much child pornography, right? Okay, so he got 26K subscribers, but he has like multiple videos that have multiple millions of views that are played on the radio all the time here. So most popular videos, yeah, 5 million views. This is the one that I always sing, right? Soy mi tierra. I'm from my land, right? But also has other ones that are very highly viewed as well. No sabes amar, mi melodía, Paraguaya, and other songs, Alba, canciones rotas. So anyways, so you guys get the picture, right? He's a very well known artist here in Paraguay. Um, yeah. So, anyways, so this guy, he made his fame about a decade ago, and he's an incredible songwriter and singer, right? I mean, that's undeniable. Yeah, but I believe he was accused, and we're gonna get into details. And this actually is auto dubbed in English, right? So it'll tell us. But of what I've understand, what I've read up on, there was two girls that came to his house. One was 11 years old, and the other one was 15 at the time. This happened in 2023, so 2 years ago, and they came over, and he filmed them without their consent. He was There's other charges as well that he may have drugged them. Now that wasn't able to be proved, so those charges were dropped. But he was found accused of sexual abuse of a child, in particular, filming these children. Um, you know, uh, I don't know if full on naked or not, but it was exploitative in that way, right? Very ugly stuff, you guys. Some of the worst stuff that you could possibly do, right? So, anyways, we're gonna get into it again. So, I give you just some background of who he is. Arguably one of the most famous singers in Paraguay. And yeah, it's a real shame that these guys have the darkest demons that they act out on, and it's just like the states, right? It's the Diddy stuff, it's the R. Kelly stuff, it's all that, right? And then these guys become so famous and become so rich that they think that they're gods, they think they're untouchable, right? But they forget that a world is still out there, and you can't abuse people, you know what I mean? So all right, let's get into this.
Making my son a scapegoat. That's what happened. There is a verdict in the case of musician Pablo Benegas, who was found guilty. Diego Diaz, who is in charge of the coverage, will give us the details. How are you, Diego? How are you? Good afternoon. Making my son a scapegoat. That's what happened, and that's the truth. And that's the truth that will come to light one day. And journalists, I tell you, talk about these things too, not just what the prosecutor says. I don't know what the prosecutor has against my son. There is one, so you know, because she didn't tell us either, the chain of custody of my son's phone was broken and I ask her, who broke it by name and surname? Lujan Alegre, you broke the chain of custody of my son. You were the one who did it, and from that moment on, that evidence of his phone is useless. It's null and void, and that's what has to be known. It doesn't exist. Lujan Alegre is the assistant prosecutor of the prosecutor Luis Chamorro, and now she is under investigation and is hiding in the prosecutor's office. Why is she hiding? So that this thing about Pablo can happen. And then they will surely answer her again. So, please, I ask all the Paraguayan people to remember that Pablo has a profile. He has a profile that he has always had, and he may be whatever he is, but he will never, ever touch the minor.
So obviously, that the dad is going to, with evidence or not, back his son. I mean, though, that's we've seen that a million times over. Whether he's guilty or not. And again, the courts did find him guilty. Okay, so that's not up for debate anymore. There are some circumstances, or there are some things about this case that I looked into that are a little bit iffy. But then again, the things that were iffy were dropped, right? So the one thing that did stick is there are videos in his phone of him filming these girls, right? And not like they're eating a meal together, but like sexually exploitative stuff, right? So that's what he did found guilty on, right? Now, there could be conspiracies rolling around, but it's pretty shut and closed evidence, at least what I can what I determined, if they found it and they've seen it and it's coming from his phone, I don't know what other explanation that there could possibly be, unless they, unless the only thing I could possibly see is if they filmed each other and blamed it on him. But number one, I don't think that that's even a possibility, because I think that he filmed both of them at the same time, which means that it had to be him or another person, right? But okay, before we even get to that point, why are these girls in his house? Are they family members? Are they friends of family members? Well, why is there an 11-year-old girl and a 15-year-old girl from the Chacarita in your house? Do you know their mother? Are you babysitting them? I don't get it, So because for me, I mean, that's weird enough alone, unless they're your family members, or their mom has to work or something, but then again, it'd probably be like your niece or your or a cousin or something like that, So I mean, these girls, it sounds like they're not even related to him, but they're in his home somewhere in Asuncion, right? And I was reading an article and it said that the mother is not right in the mind, right? So I don't know how this all started, but then again, the evidence is there. So I mean, how can you deny that? And again, the courts don't play with this stuff. There is no what would you call it? Racial bias here. This is Paraguayans on Paraguayans. You know what I mean? So there's no element of that might exist in America. Now, the only thing that I guess some people may say is, well, he's rich and famous, right? That they want to squeeze money out of him. They want to create a false narrative. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. And again, for the courts to find you guilty, there needs to be some pretty, hard evidence. So, I mean, if it's coming from his phone, he better have a good explanation of why, So, anyways, let's keep going here.
What is your name, sir? Luis Alberto Venez. I wish we were listening to Pablo Benegas' father. So this day of the trial ends, the reading of the sentence, or rather, Osvaldo Ivan. It must be taken into account that today the sentences have not yet been given to Analyze everything that happened today. Starting at 5 in the afternoon, the members of this sentencing court came out to talk about this situation and to comment on the punishable acts that could be dismissed or proven. Finally, Pablo Benegas was found guilty of 2 crimes, Osvaldo Ivan of sexual abuse and also of producing pornography, and he was acquitted of 2 crimes, sexual coercion and rape.
Okay, that's a little bit confusing. I don't understand how he's accused of sexual what is it, abuse, but not accused of rape. Um, it's kind of confusing to me, but I guess the sexual abuse would be the filming, right, of the girls, right? And again, it's so weird. Why are they in your house in the first place? I don't get it, right? So it's a real shame, man. It's a real shame. Like I don't understand these guys. Like that this is. I mean, you let's go back to his channel. Incredibly famous in the country. He could have any girl that he possibly would want above 18 years old. You know what I mean? Um, you know what I mean? Like look how famous he is. Like this is undeniable, man. And I mean, he's not just like internet famous, but he's a performer. You know what I mean? So like, I don't understand these guys. Like there's something must be really sick in their head where like you're attracted to children that young, because in Paraguay there's I was reading there's the law that like under 14 it's even harsher punishment. You know what I mean? So one of the victims was 11 years old, so that's why he's facing 20 years. I think I forgot to say that. I don't know if he's gonna get 20 years. I believe on the 15th, in 5 days, that we're gonna know, right? But yeah, let's keep going with this.
Was mentioned in this explanation, which was given by the president of the sentencing court, was the following: that in the case of sexual abuse, the analysis could be focused on the 11-year-old girl, who in theory was the victim of a type of abuse that did not include intercourse and who was also a victim of the production of pornography because it was proven that there was a video, a recording on Pablo Benegas' cell phone, which has the same date, which coincides with the statements of the minors who went to give their testimony before the professionals, psychologists, and also before the prosecutors, who were in charge of this investigation. In the case of pimping, the president of the court had mentioned that, first of all, pimping refers to an instigation for people to engage in prostitution, and that could not be proven in all the analyses carried out by the 3 members of the court. That is why it does not fit the request of the public ministry, and in the case of sexual coercion, there is a more refined perspective. We spoke a while ago with the prosecutor Claudia Aguilera, and she mentioned that, they have to sit down and read later, when the sentences are given, what the general arguments of the judges were, because, yes, it could be proven that the minors were, under the influence, of narcotics, however, it could not be proven if Pablo Benegas was the one who provided them with these types of narcotics in order to later take sexual advantage of the girls. That is why he was acquitted of the figure of sexual coercion. Next week, on Wednesday the 15th, the part that corresponds to the reading of the sentences will be held again. It would be the years of prison that Pablo Benegas will have to serve. Let's remember that this is also a first instance sentence, which is why we will have to wait until next week to have these numbers. Pablo Benegas came to talk to you after the sentence. He came to talk to you after the sentence. No, he was present. He was there by telematic means, as was his lawyer Duarte Cacabelos, Guillermo Duarte Cacabelos. Diego, was the father making a complaint or was he protesting? What was it? What was the context of that statement he made, which was basically directed against an official of the public ministry? Yes. First of all, the father mentions that the court, as well as the prosecutor Claudia Aguilera, lied, that this decision has no basis and that his son remains innocent until the sentence is final. He says that there are external motivations and that is why Pablo Benegas was involved in this case. He mentions that Pablo Benegas is a very well-known public figure internationally and that there are motivations. He was unable to mention, or rather did not want to mention, who would be interested in Pablo Benegas being convicted in. Then he directly attacked an assistant prosecutor for being responsible, according to her statement, for breaking the chain of custody of the devices seized in the search of Pablo Benegas' home. This, responding somewhat to what the court mentioned about the production of pornography, since in the explanation, the president mentioned that it was proven that there was a video that contained the filming made by Pablo Benegas of an 11-year-old girl, dressed as a student, and that he was sexualizing her in that video. The date of the video coincides with the statements of the minors. So, to answer that, Father Pablo Benegas said that the physical evidence of these devices seized at the home was actually altered and that there is a person responsible. I don't remember his name right now, but he belongs to the prosecution team.
So it sounds like the dad wants to blame it on AI or some person who planted these videos, but I don't know, man. I'm not buying the dad's stuff. All right, let's keep it going. There's only 2 minutes left.
Osvaldo. Well, I mean, the expectation remains for what will happen next Wednesday, the sentence that will be handed down, because a sentence has to be handed down because the court has already ruled that he is reprehensible, that is, he is guilty or responsible for the crimes attributed to him. To also remind the audience ABC Carinal, what are the proven facts for the sentencing court? Yes, sexual abuse of minors and also production of pornography. On Wednesday, October 15th at 8:30, the trial will be held again to establish the criminal framework or rather the sentences, and if it cannot be finished that day, on the 17th they will be convened again here at the Palace of Justice.
Diego Diaz, we will return to you. Thank you very much. Our colleague Diaz, there from the Palace of Justice, Lords Garcet, Rosana Maldonado and Manuel Aguirre, were the judges who issued this sentence today. Why is it divided? Because it is already a matter established before the oral trial. The division of the trial is called that, in which in the first part it has to be determined whether or not the defendant is reprehensible, that is, whether he is guilty or not. And in the second part, if he has been declared reprehensible as happened, the penalty must be determined for, in this case, the defendant, Pablo Benegas. This morning, at least, he was in the oral and public trial room. I do not know if he left in the afternoon or not. It must be said, Ivan, that we cannot access the courtroom because there are minors. Through the victims they are minors and it is the power of the sentencing court to make the trial public or not. In this case, he ruled that it should be only for the parties. We have to continue.
For those who don't know him, Pablo Benegas is a renowned Paraguayan singer-songwriter. For example, he became very popular with that song, I'm Paraguayan. That's true. I'm from the land of jasmine and orange trees. That very popular song, well, that's a song performed by Pablo Benegas, for those who don't know him. He's now in prison, and he's been declared a child molester.
Yes, child sexual abuse and child pornography. These are basically the charges that the sentencing court applied.
Okay, well there you have it. Yeah, it's insane. It really is insane. And I'm inclined to believe it. I'm just gonna keep it honest. I'm inclined to believe it. Again, it comes back to what were they doing there in the first place? What were they doing there in the first place? You know? And so, yeah, I mean, there's really no. Here's a video. His father is just going off about, oh, it's a witch hunt, it's a witch hunt, it's a witch hunt, whatever. All that stuff. Yeah. Hell of a thing, man. I mean, I always sing his songs, or his particular that one song that they were mentioning. Soy de mi tierra. I'm from my land. I'm from my country. Right. It's a beautiful song. Um, yeah. So okay, I just got a couple more things pulled up here. Very recently too. Wow, Pablo has changed, man. Wow, is that what he looks like nowadays? Man, I thought that I got big. Holy shit. Uh, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's what he looks like now. Completely changed, man. Yeah. Again, this is what he. This is what he. You know, this is what he used to look like. Anyways, yeah. So there's another case that's going on right now too. An evangelical pastor that I just saw pop up. That he's on the run right now. He's 50 years old. His name is Carlos Frank Alexander Kublik Silguero. Yeah, he's a fugitive right now. And the victim came out at 20 years old and said that I believe it was his goddaughter, if I remember reading this correctly, and that she was 13 years old when she was the victim of sexual abuse. Um, and so yeah, man. I mean, this is really sad, man. That it goes down by powerful people, right? And again, I'm inclined to believe these victims because you can't lie about this stuff. You know what I mean? There's consequences if you lie about this stuff. And, especially in Pablo's case, like, there's a video evidence, man. Like, what were they doing there? It makes me wonder too. It really does make me wonder, like, how many more are there? If this really is true, which again, I'm inclined to believe that it is. If this really is true, how many more victims are there? Are there dozens? Because, again, do you think that this is the first time that he's done this? Again, we're assuming that the courts got it right and that he is guilty. Okay, that's our assumption when I say this. Um, is it the first time? Uh, I doubt it. I really highly doubt it. Because you don't just jump from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? Um, I think that there's probably more victims. You know, and so again, it's very, very not good stuff for him, man. And our prisons are nothing. Here, in fact, here, let's go um, look up what our prisons look like here. Our most infamous one is Tucambu, I believe. Tucambu Prison, Paraguay. Or Tacumbu, I believe. Tacumbu. Yeah. Okay, so let's just watch the really quick here. Dang, that's a crazy statistic. So almost 80% of incarcerated adults are in Paraguay are there from a preventative form. People that could be innocent have stayed for years incarcerated before going in front of a jury for court. That's crazy. I didn't know that. So yeah, like a bunch of pre-trial people. Okay, whatever. This is a pretty whatever. No, I'm just trying to show you what the prison looks like. So yeah, I mean, here you go. This is what it looks like. Wilson André Garcete, Fagundio Silva. It's the Wild West, man. Silvino Sosa. Si eres muy bueno te juegan todo y si eres muy malo te aniquilan. Yo no le recomiendo ni a mi enemigo que llegue por aquí. Yeah, and there's different sections to this prison. Like there's the religious one that if you behave and you don't do drugs or alcohol, you can live a little bit better in the Catholic area. Otherwise, this is kind of the Wild West area, where guys are sleeping on the ground or in the yard. People are out there just doing drugs in the open air, right? People are making shanks and stuff all the time. And yeah, man, I mean, it's look at this prison, dude. This prison is insane, man. If he goes here, I don't think he can make it. Well, again, I don't know how much money he has. If he has a lot of money, maybe he could buy people off. But then again, people don't like the crime that he's accused of. If he robbed a bank or something, like nobody would care. Like none of these guys would care. But here, let's look up Pablo Benegas net worth. Benegas, Paraguay. Okay, it's not going to tell us. But anyways, let's assume that he has quite a bit of money. But that's still his. This is probably a version of his future. You know what I mean? Um, it's not good. It's not good. So the guess we'll just leave it at that. And yeah, man, like I guess the very last thing I'll say is, if he's an R. Kelly type, and it comes to light that there are multiple dozens and dozens and dozens of victims, that's gonna be insane. I'm not saying that there is, but again, for him to jump from 0 to 100, I kind of don't know about that either. Um, One of the last things is, like, one thing that didn't come to light is if he had more CP. And so I don't know if they dug into it that far. I mean, not like they needed to, because there's already that evidence. But if they would have found more CP, I would have been even more. Again, I do believe it, but I would. It would have been way more of a case closed, 100% believable verdict, right? If they would have found even more, and they might have. Maybe they just didn't include it in all the details, and but yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing, man. Again, he's very well known here. It's not, it doesn't give me any joy to cover this dark topic, but at least right now, he's kind of looking like the R. Kelly of Paraguay, man. It's not good, dude. Not good. Now, where do I stand on it when it comes to his music? I'm gonna keep singing his music. To be completely honest, like, he has some very national songs. Like, most of his songs is like Paraguayan. Other people are as well. And guess what? I'll just be the new artist to sing it, right? He may have written the song, but I'll be the one to embody the lyrics and the message, right? Because the messages to his songs are national, full of pride, right? Doesn't, like, again, if it was a song like R. Kelly's Idiot Self, and he makes a song like Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, okay, I'm not gonna listen to that song because we know all the crazy stuff behind it. But if it's like a normal song like I Believe I Can Fly or something like that, I'll listen to it. Yeah, I may not care for the man. I think the man is despicable, right? But at the same time, man, like, uh, a lot of these artists, I mean, look at P. Diddy. So many of these famous people have skeletons in their closet. If we were to cancel out every single movie director, every single artist, every single this and that, there'd be nothing left. I swear to God, your iTunes and YouTube music playlists and Spotify playlists would be like empty. You know what I mean? Like, if you were canceling for every misdeed in their life, right? Like, I'm certainly no perfect human being, but I certainly have never done anything like this. I mean, this is next level degeneracy and illegality. So anyways, you guys, I'm gonna close out with that. Very disappointed in this dude. He was his songs are very powerful. Again, like I've said, very meaningful to Paraguayan people. So it's very sad that he felt the need to do all this. That he also felt untouchable as well. Again, if it comes to light years from now that this really was some crazy conspiracy to take him down, I just don't see that. I mean, he's an artist. He's not a politician. He's not a narco. So, like, I don't see like a crazy conspiracy here. I think the evidence is probably pretty well, there to convict him. And again, it's nothing that we can see or should see, obviously, for very obvious reasons, right? Um, But yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. And he screwed up his life. He already looks like he's in his age 40s, I'm guessing. So if he gets like 10, 20 years, like, you know, I guess relatively what he has of his younger years in life are going to be gone. Prisons are very harsh here, right? They're nothing to sneeze at. And it's he's gonna, I guess, face the consequences of what he's done, man. So, anyways, it's pretty. I'm still kind of in shock, man. I'm still pretty unbelievable because, okay, well, okay, I'll be honest. How I heard about all this in the first place, and my ex actually sent me a link, right? Because she knows how much we love to sing and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, do you see what happened to this dude? Or do you see, like, what he's been accused of and found guilty of?" I was pretty much in shock because I knew that there was rumors like earlier that like he could have violated a woman or something like that, which is still terrible, right? But it takes it ultra next level when it's a child. You know what I mean? Or children, multiple. So, anyways, I'm gonna close out there, and yeah, again, I'm kind of without words, man, for all this, and don't ever do this stuff. This is next level, just not good. You know what I mean? All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay. Keep up on the channel, the videos, and keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Can I do consultations? For coming here to Paraguay, anything and everything you want to talk about. Links always going to be down below in the description to schedule those with me. And yeah, otherwise, besides that, I'll see you all the next one, and take care of yourselves, you guys. And I think I'll be releasing this on a Friday. So have a good weekend if you guys see this right when it comes out. And yeah, and have a good one. Peace.